99.3 Nigeria Info Lagos. Good morning to you. Welcome to the second part of Dailies. Today, I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
Right, you can watch the show on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch on Facebook and YouTube. We are live there right now. Let's start with this one in the Vanguard newspaper on page 9. Poor UTME results. We are all responsible. NAPTAN.
And that includes you and I. What we have, like somebody said, ASU says it is garbage in and garbage out. We had a very terrible UTME results, or what you know as JAMB, and 75% of the candidates scored less than 200 of the possible 400 marks. That is 75% couldn't get 50%. It's terrible. Terrible. And then, so parents under the ages of Nigerian Parent Teacher Association of Nigeria, I didn't know that one existed, ASU and including NANS, everybody is disturbed, and I'm sure you at home you are disturbed about the dismal performance. The national president of NAPTAN, Alhaji Haruna Danjuma, told Vanguard that the stakeholders in the educational sector were to blame for the poor performance. He said, "We are all responsible, parents, government, teachers, and learners themselves. For parents, some of them are no longer serious with the education of our children." A visit to TikTok will see in which both adults and children in which they are headed. Entertainment has become the order of the day. Complete irresponsibility. Complete irresponsibility. Go there, go to social media. 40, 45, 65. Everybody shaking bomb, dressing irresponsibly. That's where our attention is now. Yet we are poor people. Yet we don't have anything substantial. In borrowed clothes, in rented clothes, in stolen jewelry, name it. In fact, some parents would want the teacher to do everything, not minding the fact that their children spend more time with them than they do in school. Instead of being serious and giving the necessary support for the education of their children, some parents would rather begin to look for needless shortcuts. It is true. Some of you out there, you buy exam results, you buy admission, you do all kinds of things that were never heard of in the past, because you want to show off with your children. You want everybody to see that your children are superstars, which they are not. That's why some people will be strongly advocating that anybody under 18 actually should be going to universities. You don't look at the development of the child. It's just to show off at whatever cost. That is the world that we're living in. ASU says it is garbage in, garbage out. The immediate past national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, said education had been relegated to the backwaters in the country. I agree. Politicians are well paid. Judiciary are well paid. Doctors neglected. Education completely all the way back. Not realizing that we are going to create a development gap for the country. The politicians come make the judiciary their priority and their comfort their priority. They are ready to buy cars 165 million. But to invest in education, OTO, look at Nel Fund. Nel Fund has hardly taken off. We are hearing all kinds of stories. Who is going to bail the cat to make our society better? This is a wake-up call. And what some of us don't realize is that our old age in this country is going to be terrible if you don't develop those who are coming up. If you don't develop those who are coming up with the right kind of education, making education a priority, that's what we're going to have. You know, and the public relations officer of NANS, Comrade Ajasa, he faulted JAMB for the poor results. His reason, listen to what he said. You cannot put something on nothing. Also, look at the timing of the exam. Most of the candidates were slated to write their papers at 6:30. That was true. I know parents who had to get their children to the centers by 6:30 in the morning. Sorry, Itwa Godalo, I have to use your phrase. Who does that? Who does that? How can you set 6:30 as a time for an exam to get done When it's not as if the kids are in boarding house. Even if they're in boarding house, surely they must have their breakfast before they start. You know? And he said that when the exam was on, we issued a statement regarding the timing fixing of the exam to start by the hour of the day. And he says that I wouldn't be surprised if most of those who didn't do well were the ones asked to come for the exam by 6:30. Also remember, there was no regard for where candidates lived, meaning you could be living in Ikorodu and they tell you to go and write an exam for 6:30 in Ekpe. It's stated here. You know, they stated here. And the executive director of the Africans Brand Review, Joseph Adele, said that the progressive decline in the performance of candidates in the UTME over the years is an indication of a looming generational divide. Those coming, we talk about the youth. You are not putting a premium on developing them. You politicians out there, you are so concerned with being in power at all costs. You take care of the judiciary. You take care of yourselves. Medical, zero. Education, zero. Well, there has to be a wake-up call on this. And my advice to all of us is we should all brace ourselves and save our country. This is not politics now. This is not politics at all. This is a real danger. And Sheriff, this is part of what is reflected in the social media when you see a lot of harebrained comments on things that are so obvious. This is it. This is the beginning. So the question is, who is going to bail the cat? Who is going to show concern? Remember that most of these politicians in power, their children are not writing JAMB. Let's be blunt about it. There is hardly anybody who can afford to send his child abroad that will not do so. So the issue of JAMB has been left to the Philistines. You can take care of yourselves, and if you like, don't develop. But they forget that, yes, your child can go to Oxford, he can go to Cambridge, he can go to Harvard. The local government chairman is going to face is a man with a half-baked education, and it will make life difficult for him in future. That is part of what we are seeing now. Because you ask yourself, even in governance, let's be honest with ourselves, where is Nigeria's first 11? The kind of people we knew as lecturers today would not go near a university with a mile-long pole. I was in a university when the likes of J.P. Clark were there, his wife, Professor Ebo Clark. Professor Wole Soyinka was a lecturer. You had that cadre of people. Professor Wojobi, the world's genius, was a lecturer. How do you keep such people within the system now? Look at the teachers you also had. And some of them, I had a teacher who once, I've forgotten his name because he didn't teach me directly. We had one or two people in comprehensive who had PhDs. They were employed by the Western State government to be student teachers. So this is now beyond politics. This is not a case of a Tinubu government or that one government. This is a real crisis that is as bad as the crisis we have in the defense sector. I can tell you that for free. In fact, it's almost a bigger crisis than we have in the health sector, because it is from this pool of people that you hope to produce doctors, that you hope to produce lawyers, that you hope to produce civil servants. Something definitely must happen, and it needs to happen in a hurry. Therein lies the sermon for today. Sheriff, it's a big problem.
I mean, is there a way around the corner where we would say, okay, let's turn back now, let's get this thing,
Sheriff, the truth is
sorted.
Just like, you see, the things we throw at problems that we have always amazes me. I don't know how we could have a National Assembly full of who should be, somehow intellectual up to some point, and you say you want to have a 2-day summit to solve your security problem. I've never heard anything like it. The security problem is not something to be solved by a summit. Definitely not. Same thing with education. We have people with the wrong mindset. The focus of those who are driving us, their focus mainly is in staying in power and, of course, being close to the cookie jar. We will say these things. They don't see it. They don't see it. And until we have leaders who think of, our leaders don't think of others first. No. Show me one who you can say show me one that has the like minds of the likes of Awolowo and Ahmadu Bello and Zik. Their focus is always, that's why they keep crisscrossing from party to party. Yesterday we had, a top politician bought 2 hours of time on about 6-7 stations. He was talking about himself. He was talking about himself. Why our colleagues keep allowing that to happen is the story for another day. But until we focus, we have people who are focusing genuinely on development. This is what we are in a rat race now. And then, of course, when their children do come out, they exhibit them, they take them all over the world, they take them, they show them this and show them that. What you do around, and the rest of us are bound to the feelings. This is a very serious matter. And if you don't hook those who direct the affairs of this country, if you don't hook them by the jugular, there's a complete disaster waiting to happen. I read in the newspapers, one man was arrested, a doctor. He had killed so many people and buried them in his office. Medical doctor. Yeah, you saw it now. In Ilorin. Yes. Including his girlfriend. It's not just a mental case. It's also a case of mindset. I want to succeed. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just that. Where do we have the discipline to do what we are doing today? It starts from education. I don't know.
Let's move on to our next story quickly, Lagos. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. It's 7:43 from our studios. You can watch on Facebook and on YouTube and drop your comments there. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch. Page 5 of the Vanguard. Defections. PDP's collapse imminent. Ganduje Wike.
PDP's collapse is not imminent. I disagree with Ganduje. And you didn't finish the headline. Both Ganduje and Wike said PDP's collapse is imminent. I disagree with them. PDP has collapsed.
Oh, I thought you were...
I set you up there. The collapse is not imminent. Have the people who were at the meeting, at the so-called meeting that they had, have their eyes and concentration on moving to the APC. Including Wike, who was there. Wike's case is something I can't understand. I don't know how I would have been able to be a top member of the PDP and sit with Wike in the same meeting.
This is exactly what
I don't know how they do it. Somebody is telling us something.
Exactly what I said.
I said it appears that there are more people that are complicit with Wike's aspirations than are making us. I think somebody is playing a game with us. You want to have a strategic meeting of the PDP and then you invite Wike. Somebody should give me the definition of what is anti-party. And part of the game Wike is playing, because he keeps saying that unless they obey rules, and Wike is trying to see if he can move them to present a southern candidate. There is no southern candidate. It will be very difficult for a southern candidate to beat Tinubu. Obi, who would have been in a position to do so, hasn't made himself a rallying point. He's a one-man mopole. Yes. Because if the PDP can produce a strong northern candidate, it can give the APC a fight for their money. So Wike has made it conditional. He wants to see if he can push them. Once they produce a southern candidate, it's a done deal. You get what I'm saying? That is my thinking. I might be right, I might be wrong. If I want to argue with me, go ahead. But that is my thinking. I would not, if PDP wants to exist and be very, very relevant, they can do without this man.
Wike.
Yes. What else is left? Unfortunately, I don't know how his own political life is going to end. Because I know for sure that even the APC people would rather do without him still. But that's Wike's story is the story. is something that the political scientists in future will study very, very well. And I think our colleagues in the media owe Nigeria a responsible. Yes, people can pay for time, people can do this, can do that. But I also feel that there should be a sense of responsibility in the things in the information that we give out, or how we allow our platforms to be used. Taking 2 hours of public time for what, again, I didn't watch it to the fullest. I just browsed through it and saw it was the same thing. I think that it's time we had 1 or 2 of our members who would take a stand and say, sorry, we will not be part of this. You can keep your money. Life is not just about money. The media has a responsibility. It's not enough for you to say that somebody has bought airtime and therefore you open up your platforms for all kinds of what I would call jagbajantis. I believe there must be a sense of responsibility, but that's part of it. People are so impoverished, and that includes us. I'm not saying, that includes all of us are impoverished, that we'd like to grab at any straw that we otherwise, in a very buoyant economy, some networks will say, sorry, you can go spew whatever you want to do somewhere else. We won't allow it. Very sad indeed. But the PDP, I disagree that the collapse is imminent. I think the PDP has already collapsed. I think it's time for me to bring Chief Bode George again. This is a PDP man in Lagos. That's own brother. I wonder. So the question you ask yourself, Sheriff, is that what does the future hold for us politically in this country?
The question I wanted to ask is, so now that you have said that this has already happened,
yes,
does that mean that we are already in a one party?
Unless a miracle happens. Unless a miracle. Peter B he can't even lay claim to labor. He's like a one-man mopo.
Right now, we don't even know where he belongs.
Yes.
I don't know where he belongs.
And again, one of the things he didn't do quite right is to galvanize certain persons to move along with him. Oh, if Peter Obi 2.5 years ago had said that as I'm going to the Senate, I have Olisa, as I want to be president,
yeah.
Patu told me he was going to the Senate, Femi Falana have convinced him, people like that, to all of us, let's go. Then you'll be able to galvanize more people. But he's a one-man mopo. And he has said something. I read somewhere on the social media yesterday that it's not so much about him being president, but it's about him contributing positively to the development of politics in Nigeria. So it leaves us with a gap.
Do you buy that, though?
One thing that God has not given us is the ability to read people deep inside.
Deep.
You can't. That's how God has been much more superior to some of us. To us, you can't really know where people are coming from. But with the level of intrigues that you have in politics today, I don't trust anybody. But I trust myself, sir.
But you are not a politician.
Should I trust you?
You are not a politician.
Sheriff, can I give you something to keep for safekeeping?
Let's start with the car.
I don't mean car now. Let's start with a human being.
I'll keep it for you very well.
Very wicked.
Oh boy.
There.
This is another interesting story here on page 8. Really, very, very interesting. New immigration reforms. Nigerians affected as UK slashes graduate visa to 18 months.
I thought I should do you a favor by highlighting this story. If you have a Jackpot ambition, you need to, on a 24-hour basis, keep checking the new policy for immigrants in the United Kingdom. It changes by the day. Now, it says Nigerians affected as UK slashes graduate visa to 18 months from the initial 2-year period. Okay. What it means is that when you leave university, within 18 months, you must get out of the country. This effectively brings down the number of months students are able to remain in the UK after their studies. The government also doubled the standard qualifying period, during which foreign nationals could seek indefinite leave to remain or settle in the UK, to 10 years from the initial 5-year period. So all this filing and you wait looking for paper and whatever, you would have to wait a whole 10 years of your life before you can settle properly in the United Kingdom. And there are so many of the new rules here. I'd advise you go to their website. Don't bother to read the paper. Just go to their website and stop saying things like "I was told." It's out there in the open. One of the things you don't want to do, let me use this opportunity to tell you, all these consultant this and consultant that, try and avoid them. They complicate issues for you. The forms are written in English. Okay, they complicate things for you. Many people don't know. Unfortunately, I haven't really been on this visa, whatever thingy. But whatever you say is recorded, it's there. What the consultant could have filled, you might not even know. And then you are asked a simple question. Okay, the guy has the answer there. They asked to. I remember my good friend, I don't want to mention his name, he's somewhere in Sulere there. And when they got there, said, Mr. Williams, what's the name of your wife? He was scratching his head.
Oh my! Oh my!
Very good. Somebody had filled the form for him. And then the immigration guy said, I'm going to ask the next question. Now you have an option. Either you quickly step back and go back with the flight that brought you here.
Yeah.
If I ask the next question and you don't get it, I'll charge you for perjury. Then he said, I will turn around. And he turned around and he was seen in the neighborhood 48 hours after he left for the US.
Oh.
So try and do things by yourself. The rules are there. They cannot be bent. They cannot be broken. Just get that. You just make yourself a fugitive for life for nothing. They cannot be bent. When they put name, occupation, date of birth, all people want to, all these countries want to know is who are you and what are you coming to do. When you hear people tell you that you can bypass this and bypass that, an allowance has been made so that you can become a dependent worker. When you get there, you can, people like you can be paid, put in agency and be paid half salary that is due you. So please, if you want, there's nothing wrong in Jackpine. Jackpine is a personal decision. Make sure you read the rules and update yourself on a daily basis.
Yep. Ensure you do that. Let's go to this.
Me, I'm not going to go anywhere. We'll die here.
Let's not die here now.
We'll die there. Die here.
With the let's not die here. The quality can guarantee us to go. I'll just change my name.
To what?
To Disu.
Somehow you look like me, you know. You can
hey now, exactly.
If it was in the days in the 70s when we could use a passport photograph and take it off and put
another one.
Yes. Not anymore. Oh yeah.
Jasha, don't let me see the quality. Maybe that's what my bros would do. Let's go to the editorial in the Vanguard. Honestly diagnosing our military's woes.
Forget about the editorial. It's the issue that it brings up that concerns me. And that is the so-called summit by the National Assembly, 2-day summit on security. It is dead on arrival. You don't even discuss security strategies and whatever in the open. And the people you are going to assemble in that summit are not the ones who will provide. What the executive needs is they need a weekend retreat to be advised by specialists on what to do. Because when I heard the NSA, when the president came back and the NSA, yes, he kept saying that we have been directed. The president has issued directives. Excuse me. Were you waiting for the president to issue? Who is the specialist? You or the president? So that mindset in itself, the president has issued directives. The executive need to lock themselves up with serious specialists, international relations, military experts. Lock themselves up for 2 days in a place like Jos, well guarded, and develop a master strategy to handle this issue. It's not by some big summit inviting all the emirs and the obas and their ADCs and you spend a whole lot of money. It's not a National Assembly issue. It is not a National Assembly issue, but short briefings, the Senate President will be there, the Speaker will be there. A closely knit unit, and you have a proper, what I would call a proper briefing. It's not a matter of the President has directed. I even find that language offensive in the security situation we are in. For the NSA to say that the President has issued directives. The President is not supposed to issue directives. He is supposed to advise them on this is what we are going to do, and he either okays it for reasons best known to him or whatever. So if our military people are waiting for them to be issued directives, then ab initio we've gotten it wrong. So this so-called summit is dead on arrival. It's dead on arrival. And that's why the Vanguard comments and says that, it says the same Nigerian army that distinguished itself in international peacekeeping in Congo fought to prevent Biafra secession, quell civil wars in Liberia, and also as ECOMOG, cannot protect its own citizens. And the Vanguard says that the reason for this sort of situation are hidden in plain sight. It does not need a summit to pinpoint them. Indeed, a summit will not only be another money-guzzling distraction, it will also be a sure sign that the leadership is not ready to tackle the real issues. The call by the retired generals for the rearmament of the armed forces assumes that the main issue is poor equipment. I don't think it's just poor equipment. It's lack of a concrete strategy that takes into cognizance both military and political considerations. And the zeal and determination to deal with those who are behind all this, which could include some of our friends. When I say some of our friends, I don't mean personal friends. Some of our the nations and whatever that we are aligned with.
Indeed.
And remember, this is within a world political order. We should know where we stand. These things cannot be said on radio. But otherwise, we'll just be rolling in circles. In circles and in circles. The Vanguard says that patriotism is now a scarce commodity. How many of our troops now are devoted to their calling? Are they well motivated? Are they well taken care of? The things that we see in the social media about the way our troops are being treated, are these things true? Are they well fed? What is their medical like? All these little things, small as they might appear fragmented, contribute to a whole. If you look at the generals being charged left, right, and center for this, for that humongous amount, what is going on? That is where I think the problem lies. Definitely not in a summit of only God knows how many privileged people sit in Abuja, take up hotel accommodation, allowances, and so on and so forth, and nothing to be achieved. On that note, I'm off.
On that note, we're done for this morning. Well, you're back at 9.
Yes, I'm back at 9.
Mm-hmm. So, Lagos, thank you for joining us. Yes, JD is back at 9 for Daily Digest. Meantime, Liberos is joining me at 8 o'clock. Let's look at the legality of LASIEC conducting local government elections into the LCDAs in Lagos here. He will be breaking that down for us. That's coming up next on the Crossfire. Stay with us, please.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's